We're familiar with the multi-billion-dollar rescue for the auto industry, the billions thrown into the Troubled Assets Relief Program to prop up failing banks and insurance companies, the $787 billion stimulus, and a healthcare reform plan with $1 trillion price tag. Understanding the math involved is daunting, and according to some, so are the man-hours.
I think it's out of control.
In Washington, tax reformists observed the Cost of Government Day, which calculates how many days the American taxpayer has to work to pay for government programs.
We're seeing a larger and more intrusive government at both the federal and the state levels than we've seen in a long time and possibly ever in this country, and I think it should be a wake-up call.
According to the latest figures, the average employee needs to work a full month longer than last year when COGD fell on July 16th. Cost of Government Day is the day the average American worker earns enough gross income to cover his or her share of the expenses made by the government on a state, federal, and local level. According to latest figures by tax reformists, the average American worker works 224 days just to cover government costs. Obviously, there are 365 days a year. Are you saying that we have to work more than half the year to pay off what the government is spending with tax dollars and regulatory measures?
Unfortunately, yes. If you take the total cost of government, federal, state, and local, all government spending, plus the regulatory burden, and divide it by the income of all Americans, it takes you to August 12th, today, to pay the total cost of government. More than half of your time working goes to pay the cost of government.
Let's disagree over things that are real.
President Obama and Congress passed a stimulus plan earlier this year to get America's economy back up and running. This week, the president is focusing on health care reform as another necessity to spur the economy. But analysts say Mr. Obama's policies are a major burden on the taxpayer.
Socialism is a very loaded word, obviously. It's a very emotional word. I don't know if it's appropriate to call it that or not because it doesn't have the same kind of forethought that socialism did in the 20th century. But it does seem like we're sliding towards the kind of situation where government really commands a huge amount of resources in the economy.
Mr. Obama says reviving the United States economy is a #1 priority and that we all have to pitch in as part of an overall plan. But the question remains, how much will America have to work to get the job done? For Press TV, Colin Campbell, Washington.